Hi, welcome to this first free training video that you have signed up for. My name is Desiree Steinman, founder of Steinman International and creator of the VIP team, business startup and young businesses on how to start and grow an authentic business and develop yourself as a business owner on the way. Today we're looking at one of the strategies that I use a lot with my clients, and it is a strategy that allows you to have a clear focus but also have a clear direction. And that sometimes is really difficult to do because focus is something that narrows your view, that where you kind of you get a laser sharp view on looking at that one thing that you need to look at. While the direction, you need to look more into the distance. You have to have a broader view, and those two worlds sometimes get into each other's way. So let's look at entrepreneurs, where this video is really for, just to look at who are they, like how do they usually function? What is their chemistry like? And entrepreneurs are very often people with lots of ideas. They see opportunity behind every corner. They have a conversation, say, oh, we could do this. Or they open up the website and say, oh, there is a great idea. I could monetize on that, or I could create a business around this idea, right? So very often they're big creators of a lot of ideas. And that can get them sidetracked. That can get them distracted from actually following one all the way through until the end. Sometimes they're also very impatient. They have lots of ideas and then it doesn't work fast enough. And then they get impatient and restless and they lose momentum, they lose interest, and they get frustrated. So to understand that, it's really good then to have a strategy in play that allows you to stay on track, that allows you to be totally excited and a visionary, but yet also be somebody who is taking the action steps that are needed. And this is where this structure is really helping with this approach. And it's called big picture, small picture approach. And this is a strategy that I'm explaining to you now in a moment. It is a strategy that helps you to focus when you need to focus, but to also keep the direction in mind. So let's look, what is the big picture? What does that mean? The big picture is the picture where you have a vision, where you get clear on the vision. Now, a vision is important to not have sort of like a vague vision, not say like, oh, I want to be the best company in this segment, or I want to, I want to have the healthiest food, or I want to have the most happy clients. I want to impact the most people. That is not a vision. A vision needs to be a picture. You see, it's good to know that our brains think in pictures. They don't think in words and numbers. So whenever you want to be able to fully get it, to fully connect to something, you need to have a picture. You need to be able to have a picture for that. So look at Bill Gates, for instance. His vision for Microsoft was to have a computer on every desk. Now that's a picture I can see much better than we want to be the leading company in computer making, right? So I can visualize, well, now I don't need to visualize, I can just walk into an office today. Back then when Bill Gates had this vision, obviously this was not the case, but today you can walk in an office and on every desk you see a computer. I walk in homes and almost on every desk there is a computer. I go into an airplane and even there on every desk seems to be a computer, right? So that is something I can absolutely picture. And that is the picture that he had. These are the pictures that he had. And you can even develop a vision. A vision does not from the beginning has to be sort of like what it is at the end, because your vision could be a computer on every desk in my home country, in my city, right? It could be in my country, it could be on my continent, or it could be in the whole world, right? So a vision can also grow with you. While you achieve one, you can enlarge it and you can make it bigger. And that's really also the purpose of the vision, is not to shrink you to a place, but is to allow you to expand it anytime you feel like you can, anytime you feel compelled to enlarge your vision. So the vision needs to be very clear and needs to be very easy to visualize. And I often even tell people, you should even use your senses. You should taste it, you should feel it, you should hear it. The more senses you can actually incorporate in your visualization, the more compelling, the more magnetic it becomes. And that is really also one of the big purposes of a vision, is to A, have a very clear direction. B, you can communicate it so other people see the same picture, they feel drawn to it as well. But the other thing is also it gives you the motivation, it gives you the drive to pursue it, because it might take a while to get there. And while it takes a while to get there, you have good days and you have bad days. You have good times and you have bad times. And you need to have something that keeps pulling you forward. A good vision does not feel like it's hard work to get there. A good vision is almost like a magnetic force that pulls you there. Like every cell of your body wants to get there. And that is what a good vision is doing for you. So for the big picture, the first job is to really create a compelling, clear vision for yourself or for your business. And this is, so the big picture is really the why. It gives you the why are you doing this? Why are you setting up this business? Why do you put all your effort in there? And the why, you know, if you feel that you want to do that, that it's the right thing to do, what it does is it's usually aligned with your values. And that's one of the steps that I do with business owners or entrepreneurs as well, is to have an idea and then check in, what are my values that I live by, that I'm, you know, fighting for? And what are the company values that I want to put into place? And the more those are aligned, the more those fit together, the more authentic your business will be, and the stronger and more trusted you will come across for other people as well. And obviously you will feel much more strong about that business when it is aligned with your values than when it's not. Okay, so the big picture gives you the why. Steve Jobs had in an interview, he said something really interesting, I thought, and that was, you know, they were asking him why he's so much successful than other businesses in that field, and he said, look, Apple is focusing on the why first. First, we identify why are we looking into that? Why do we want to do this? And once we have the why right, then we look into the how. You know, then we identify how can we do it. And this is what you know, this is why people perceive them also as something so special, right? I've never seen so many people saying, I love my iPhone. No other cell phone users say so often, I love my phone, right? With Apple, you have those. You have this with their products because the why is really aligned with the product and the company and the clients, you know, the customers. Now, what he said is Philips, for instance, is a how company. They figure out how something can be done, and they get often lost in detail, right? Because they don't have the big picture. They're working more in the how, and this is the small picture approach. We come to this in a minute. And by being stuck in the how approach, you often get lost in detail and lose the direction of where you really want to go with it, right? So the big picture is the why. It gives you a very clear why, and the big picture also allows you to dream big, you know, to think big. And thinking big means that it's way outside of your comfort zone. Now, the small picture approach is where you are here right now, while the big picture approach is really more where you want to head to. And if you can, you know, if you can think big, we all don't really live our potential fully. You know, if you look around, 98% do not fully live their potential. And we see this in situations where all of a sudden there's a big risk or something, we grow way beyond our capacity that we thought we're capable of. Or when there is a stressful situation, there's a chaos or something, all of a sudden we grow way beyond of what we thought capable of. And that gives us an inkling that there's so much more in us that we never really tap into, right? So the big picture approach allows us to think so much bigger. And when we think so much bigger, it's outside our comfort zone. And what it does is the more we do and act outside our comfort zone, the bigger it becomes. As an example, for instance, when I sat the first time in a car to drive it, you know, when I did my driving lessons, I was nervous. This was outside my comfort zone because I've never done it before, right? So if you haven't done it before, it's something you don't know. And when you don't know something, it's usually outside your comfort zone. So I was very concentrated on everything I needed to do. I didn't pay attention to anything around. I couldn't talk to anybody, and I couldn't really enjoy scenery or anything while I was driving. Now, you know, driving for a little while, for a few days and months and so on, all of a sudden I became more relaxed. I was comfortable in there, so I could talk, I could have a conversation, I could pay attention while I was driving to scenery. You know, I was already a bit more comfortable, right? Later on, I was able to drive foreign cars, you know, other people's cars or rental cars without getting, you know, without being too much stressed. And later on, I could even drive in other countries. So by acting, by doing things that are outside your comfort zone, you slowly enlarge your comfort zone. And that's the idea. The big picture, in the big picture, because it's not right now, I can actually allow to think myself to think much bigger because I don't have to fill these shoes right now. But what it also does is when I then put things into action, I slowly build my muscle. I slowly build my muscle because the comfort zone to stepping outside of it is like building a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. So to reach it, I can slowly now, step by step, enlarge my comfort zone until I arrive in my vision. So that's the big picture. It's the clear vision, understand the why, and think big. This is the big picture approach. Now, let's look at the small picture approach. The small picture approach, as I said beforehand, is really honing it onto that one thing that needs to be done. And that is really something, whenever there is a feeling of overwhelm, whenever there's a feeling of frustration or a feeling of, I can't do that, which often appears during the process of starting a business. There's times when you run against the wall and finally you have the feeling, I can't do it, right? This is when you need to really come to the small picture view. You need to look at what is that one thing that I know. There's always something I know. What is that one little thing that I can do? There's always something I can do. And if it's just change my approach and try again, right? If this hasn't worked and this hasn't worked and I keep running against the wall, what I can always do is find a new way to approach the same challenge, try a different way to go about, and try again. That's something I can always do, right? So the small picture is looking at that one step that I can do. You eliminate overwhelm, you get rid of frustration, because all of a sudden, if you do one little step, you start moving again. When you start moving again and it works, then success comes back to you. So this is the focus. It gives you the focus. And the focus, once you see, let's say I'm in front of a building and I have this huge building in front of me, let's say a big tower, and this is overwhelming. I never get up that tower. If I focus, all I do is I just look at that next little piece of land in front of me. And if there is a flat ground, I can make a step, right? If it is stairs, I can take one step up, right? So this is the one thing that I can do right now. So I can start walking, and it's only that one next step, and then it's the one next step, and then it's the one next step. So that allows me to start moving again. And so the small picture really gives me the how. It's that one next step that I need to accomplish to get closer to the direction that I want to head to. That is the how. And so the how is making it, and this is the how enables me to take action. Even though, let's look when the first time they flew to the moon. They had a big picture, a very big picture. Nobody has ever been at the moon, right? That we want to fly to the moon. Now the how, they did not have a roadmap mapped out to say exactly here you have to turn left, here you have to turn right, here you have to shoot off some energy to push you this way or that way. What they had is they had a clear idea of where they wanted to go. They did not exactly know how to, but they had navigation points. They had different stars and things where they could navigate. They knew it is somewhere between here, and then they were starting to navigate until they finally reached their destination. And that happens in business startup too. You might not know exactly how to get there, but you have your strengths to use, you have your values to navigate, you have learnings that happen on the way that help you to navigate and get more insights, and you have maybe customer feedback and so on that helps you to navigate. So this is the small picture, helps you to look at the navigation points and take step by step to arrive at your final destination, right? So this is the taking action. It enables you to take constant action. And this is something I work a lot with my clients on is, in nowadays world, you probably know that, there's so many emails, so many phone calls, so many SMSs, so much information coming at us all the time, 24/7, that sometimes we feel like we're doing so much, yet at the end of the day, we did not really do anything important. We just got sidetracked, we got overwhelmed, we bombarded with all that stuff. But we have, we have served other people's needs by answering emails and so on. But have we really progressed in our important steps? So what I teach people is to every day know exactly that one step. You have to be clear, what is that one step? If I do that today, I have moved closer to my success. Just one step. And if you start to have the strategy into place that every morning you make sure that one step gets done first before you do cater to all the other things that come at you, then you know that you steadily move towards success. And you can very early in the day take this day off as it is a successful day because I have moved forward to my success. If you can then put another one in, great. But if not, you have at least moved one step forward. And I see very often people who keep procrastinating their next step, focusing on all the other things that are thrown at them rather than really pursuing their own dream. And after a while, this kind of behavior becomes a habit, and then it's even harder to break. So, small picture approach every day. What is that one step that I need to do to move closer to my success? And plan it in, and do not let other things distract you from it. That is one of the really important things. Now here, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, what you need to do is you need to start moving from big picture to small picture. When you have a clear direction and you need to take action, you need to bring it down to the small picture to see what is the next step I need to do. If you have the feeling of I can't do or I'm overwhelmed, you have to bring it down to the small picture to enable you to take action and do something. And don't get worried about all the other things that are happening as well. Focus on that one thing that's in front of you right now. But on the other hand, when you are right now in the small picture, you need to also go back to the big picture to see, am I still in the right direction? Am I still making the right choices? What is my vision? Am I getting closer to it, or am I starting sort of like to get sidetracked with my action steps that I'm doing? Am I sort of like leaning all of a sudden away from direction that I want to take, right? So you move really back and forth between big picture and small picture. I can give you a good example of one of the former VIP team members. She's starting a restaurant chain called Simply Soups. And the idea, the big vision is to have something like Starbucks just for really delicious homemade soups, right? So many places to have soups. Now, how she starts is she starts with one restaurant to first to first learn what does it take to be successful. What is working, what from my plan, from my big picture is working, and what needs readjusting. And that's a very clever approach. So what she does is she starts with one restaurant, and when she has figured it all out, when she has eliminated the little mistakes, or when she has developed a more clear roadmap, then she can multiply it very easily. Now, the important thing to know here is she has to start with a big picture, right? She has to know my end goal is to have many restaurants. Because if she now looks at that one restaurant, the decisions are very different from if she would just plan to have one restaurant. Because if you plan to have one restaurant, you will try most likely to have a really fantastic chef. And you as an owner, you will become sort of like the front face of this restaurant. You will be the social connection. You will be the person that greets people and has people come back to you, right? But in her case, if she wants to multiply that idea, she needs to have a good chef to develop the recipes. But the recipes must be in a way that many people can copy them, that many people can cook them, because it cannot be based on one chef. This one chef cannot be in all the restaurants, right? And the same thing with the personnel. You cannot have the restaurant image, the restaurant heart. What makes the restaurant cannot be one person. It has to be a concept that can be multiplied. So this is really important to move between those two and get clear on what is the big picture, what can I do here, but then not get stuck here, but move back and forth between big picture and small picture. I hope this was valuable. We're coming to the end of our first free training video. I really enjoyed to share this with you. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I'm looking forward to serve you with more. If you got this email or this video through another source from a friend or whatever, and you have not signed up yet for the whole series of free videos that I'm producing, that I'm putting out to you, then please go to the website that will come here in the bottom. Go to the website, sign up yourself so you can make sure that you don't miss out on the other free videos that I'm posting here soon. I wish you all the success, live strong, engage fully, and until next time, Have a nice time. Bye-bye.